What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Crush City Territory. That's Tyler Stafford, and much to everyone's chagrin, I am Chandler Rome, and I'm back. Contrary to what Josh and Tyler tried to tell you a couple of days ago, I actually was sick. You can still sort of hear it in my voice. They did not lie to you. I went to Mardi Gras in New Orleans. Heaven only knows what was on the streets there. Some of it may have ventured up my nose and into my lungs, and having upper respiratory cold and flu stuff is no fun. But here I am, heavily medicated and back again. Tyler, someone else who is probably heavily medicated right now is Christian Walker.
Mm-hmm.
I believe you and Josh were forecasting the worst, because when you hear oblique, that is never what you want to hear for anybody, much less someone who makes a healthy amount of money rotating very, very, very much with their top half. Sounds like the Astros avoided the worst with Christian Walker. They sent him back to Houston, where he underwent an MRI. There was no strain of his oblique, but he's back in West Palm Beach, but it doesn't sound like he'll be doing baseball activities for a little bit. Sounds like they're going to ease him back in to everything. But Tyler, I think this has to be as close to best case scenario for the Astros as can be.
They don't have MRI machines in Florida? Why do you have to come back to Houston?
I mean, you got to have the team doctors' hands on them. The team doctors that did so well last year with getting everyone rehabbed and getting everyone back in plenty of time and ready to go and having no setbacks. You got to get their hands on these guys to make sure they're okay.
I like this anti-doctor approach from you. You're real mad at doctors now, which I'm a fan of. I also can't let you slip by you said you went to Mardi Gras and something went up your nose. And I just want to say, listen, we know you were sick, okay, but we love you, Chandler. It's going to be okay. It's just spring training. Fromber will be fine.
Nothing but germs went up my nose at Mardi Gras for the 4 days I was there. I can assure you of that. I am kind of anti-doctor right now because I went to one to get this sickness away, and literally all I wanted was a shot. I was like, just give me a shot of whatever antibiotic or steroid or whatever is going to cure this very quickly, because I have to go back to Florida. I have to go back to spring training, and I want to be in tip-top shape for that. And they wouldn't even do that. They wouldn't even I'm literally asking them, like,
I can't believe they didn't give you a shot for the common cold. These dumb doctors, how dare they?
I mean, they did give me a COVID test and a flu test, both of which were negative, thankfully. Maybe I could have gotten a shot if I would have tested positive for that. I'm not sure, but I'm anti-doctor for the minute. For the moment, I'll be anti-doctor. I'm sure one of them will do something to save my life in the next, month to year, and I'll be back on their side.
Okay. Yeah, but Christian Walker, I'm glad, man. So he came back to Houston for the fancy MRI, and I guess not finding something is good. So I'm diagnosing him with a case of the hurt tummies, because if you're gonna say you strained your oblique and then it's not actually strained, I think you just got an upset tummy. And what we do for my babies is we do the bicycle leg, which you push back and forth, help them out in their tummies. And so maybe somebody needs to try that with Christian Walker. We'll see if that fixes it.
The Astros training staff should try that. It can't go any worse than some of the other stuff that they have tried to do to players. Now, we talk about Christian Walker. There's no strain. Obviously, that's good news, but there is still some wait and see here a little bit. He didn't go back to spring training and just start playing games again. He didn't go start swinging a bat. He didn't go start doing every sort of baseball activity that's out there. So they're going to ease him back in. And I don't think you can really exhale until he has a couple of days where he takes batting practice. He's full go, full swings, and he's pain-free. Now, with the proximity to opening day, as we record this, there's 18 days until opening day. There's not a ton of wiggle room here. So if he feels anything when he resumes baseball activities, it could be a signal that he may not be ready for opening day. And heck, even if he follows the procedure and the plan, there is a chance he could be a tick behind when opening day starts. That doesn't mean they put him on the IL, but maybe he hasn't seen as much pitching as he wants. Maybe he hasn't gotten as many reps as he wants in West Palm Beach. But all in all, the Astros will take this over what could have been the alternative, which was, when you have an oblique, that's about a month-long thing, and they will take this fully over the alternative.
Yeah, and I mean, I know that the Astros are doing this, but you would prefer to miss a week at the start of the season rather than push back and then strain it for any soft tissue injury. You want to be really careful with. I would much rather Walker miss 2 weeks at the beginning of the season than pull up in June and not be right for the rest of the something like that. So I would certainly still prefer them to err on the side of caution right now.
And as you and Josh talked about too, Christian Walker is no stranger to oblique problems. Had one last year that cost him a month, and he's had other oblique injuries in his career too. So if there's anyone that kind of knows how to do this, I would probably give Christian Walker the benefit of all the doubt here that he's going to handle it in the way that he knows how to handle it, in the way that it's worked for him in the past. And reading what he has told reporters in West Palm Beach recently, sounds like this doesn't feel like what happened last year. Sounds like everything he has said has been relatively good news. But again, I think there's a lot of people with the Astros that are still kind of, let's see what happens when he swings a bat. Let's see what happens when he faces live pitching for the first time. Then they'll know that they will be well past this. And I think the one thing you can count on here, usually, when a guy gets to a new team, they want to be ready. They want to impress. They want to be that guy, like I signed to do this, so I'm going to rush to be ready. Christian Walker to me doesn't strike me as that kind of guy. I mean, he's 34 years old. This is not a young player. This is not a player like trying to make an impact because he has to feel like he believes he belongs. This is a guy that is pretty secure, pretty set in his ways, kind of knows himself, knows his body. I don't think the Astros are going to have a problem with him like rushing it or kind of chomping at the bit. Obviously, he wants to be out there and play, but he's going to take this as slowly and as methodically as he needs to.
Yeah.
And so, with that, you and Josh last time talked about kind of the permutations of what could happen if Christian Walker missed opening day. We're going to act under the guise now that he is going to be ready for opening day. He may be a little behind, may not have faced all the live pitching he wants to see, but we're gonna act under the guise that he's going to be ready for opening day. Tyler, there is still a scenario in which Cam Smith could factor into the opening day roster, even with Christian Walker being ready. For me, that was the one path he had, was Christian Walker being hurt, not being ready, move Isaac Paredes to first base, Cam Smith's your third baseman to start the season. There is still something out there that the Astros are going to have to contend with, and it's called PPI. Do you know what PPI is?
Nope.
All right. Well, I'm going to be a professional podcaster here, and we're going to hear from our friends at Foul Territory real quick. We're going to pay some bills, and then once we pay these bills, I'm going to come back and explain PPI to you, and we're going to see if you think PPI is a reason that Cam Smith should be on the Astros opening day roster. But first, here's a message from our friends at Foul Territory.
FT fam, Arena Club is the modern way to collect cards or buy or sell or trade or even grade. And we're highlighting slab packs because this is the new way to rip open a pack and get a really good card, AJ. But also, if you're not into the card, like I know you pulled a Bob Gibson card recently, you can get an offer of 90% of the estimated value and just accept it on the spot and give it right back and maybe try again with another slab pack.
I ain't getting rid of my Bob Gibson autograph card. Bob Gibson ain't signing cards anytime soon, so I'm keeping this one. It gets graded for you. There's no mess. The only thing I wish they had bubble gum. Can they virtually send me some bubble gum, Scott? Other than that, it's awesome. You can buy, sell cards. They grade them instantly for you. And physically, you can also get the cards if you want them. So I'm all for this. This is one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
Yeah, those cards are in your showroom in the app. And then, of course, you can get the card physically sent to you. So right now, you can get 20% off your first slab pack or card purchase by going to arenaclub.com/FOUL. That's arenaclub.com/FOUL. Code FOUL for 20% off your first purchase.
All right, Tyler. Remember the last time we had a lockout? Remember when we didn't have baseball for a while and there was a lot of posturing that we could maybe not have baseball the whole season? You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
It's not
Didn't
fun.
like that. Yeah, don't do that again.
I have bad news for you. That may happen. That may happen in a couple of years. But the last time it happened, the Players Association and the league got together and they got the CBA done. Part of what was negotiated into that CBA is something called the Prospect Promotion Initiative, also known as PPI. What PPI tries to do is it is trying to stop service time manipulation. And it is trying to get prospects called up when they're supposed to be called up. So the way this works is there's only a select amount of prospects that are PPI eligible. And the way you become eligible is you rank in, I believe it's 3 separate outside publications, top 100 lists, prospect lists. And I don't have the exact which lists they are on the top of my head, but suffice to say, Cam Smith is in all of them. And it's in all the ones you think of. It's ESPN, it's Baseball America, and there's one more that I don't know off the top of my head. So if you are PPI eligible, if you're one of those prospects like Cam Smith is, and you accrue a full year of Major League service time as a rookie, that's 172 days, and you either win the league's Rookie of the Year honors or you finish in the top 3 of MVP or Cy Young voting in that league, your team gets a comp pick after the first round in next season's draft. So how this pertains to Cam Smith. To accrue a full year of Major League service time, that's 172 days, you can't get called up in June. You can't even get called up in May. You don't have to make the opening day roster, but you got to be pretty close. Look last year at what the Orioles did with Jackson Holiday. Jackson Holiday did not break camp with the Orioles. And then about 2 weeks later, they called him up. He spent 2 weeks in AAA, knocked the cover off the ball. They called him up. It would have been, if he stayed on the roster all year, he would have had 172 days, would have been PPI eligible. And if he would have factored into those awards, the Orioles would have gotten another draft pick. He did not take to the major leagues well, got demoted, so it never happened. So here's the thing with Cam Smith. I think the Astros are going to have to decide, as they look at him in spring training, how ready do they think he is? And how close to being ready do they think he is? Do they think he's give him 2 months in AAA and he's ready to go? Do they think it's, well, he's performed really well in these 5 or 6 Grapefruit League games, but that's all this is, 5 or 6 Grapefruit League games. He probably needs a full year or almost a full year in the minor leagues before we call him up. And do they want to risk losing the possibility of netting another draft pick? For, as we have talked about on this podcast, Tyler, this team needs as many high round draft picks as it can get, especially with Dana Brown as a draft guru and with a farm system that's not very good. So now that you've heard kind of what the Astros are weighing here, how much, if at all, do you think Cam Smith's PPI eligibility should impact whether the Astros carry him on the opening day roster?
I mean, I doubt that they're too concerned with it just because winning Rookie of the Year is a very high bar. Although I will say, while you were talking, I pulled up just odds for AL Rookie of the Year. And there's no like runaway favorite. Jason Dominguez, the Yankees prospect, is the top one overall. But 5th on the list is Astros legend Will Wagner. So, it's not like Bryce Harper, is coming, where there's just somebody, but of course, someone that we've never heard of before is going to win, like who knows? It's so random, but I mean, it's certainly a good incentive for the Astros, and maybe the new market inefficiency is just keep drafting rookie of the years and just do that, and then you get another one every year, and you just keep bringing them up. But yeah, I mean, look, if he's ready and he can contribute, he needs to be on the team, regardless of years of service time, regardless of what they get in return. It doesn't matter. The Astros now are what matter, and so if he can play, then he needs to be playing. And man, he's looked really good. And I mean, you're the world's biggest Cam Smith hater. It's embarrassing for you. I've been on the hype train way long, like a week longer than you. So it's embarrassing for you that you're gonna have to eat crow all season from everybody just tweeting at you saying, you said he wasn't gonna make the roster. Ha ha ha. Well, let the record show I have never been anti-Cam Smith, pro-doctor. So just the opposite of Chandler in every respect.
I will say this. The fact that this has now even become something that is a legitimate conversation. Look, I do not think Cam Smith is going to make the Astros opening day roster, but it is also not crazy that we are talking about it. Like, he has put himself in a position to where this is not just crazy talk. This is something that I think is a legitimate conversation. Do I think it ends up that Cam Smith is on the opening day roster? I do not. But credit to him for, look, this kid came in, and we had Joe Espada on this podcast, and the way he spoke about Cam Smith, you knew the expectations for this guy going into camp from the coaching staff, from the front office. The expectations were huge, and he has somehow exceeded them, because you listen to what they're saying on the record. You text people around the game, you text people, scouts, things like that have watched him, and they are like blown away by what they have seen from Cam Smith on the field, and then in the clubhouse, as a professional, just kind of carrying himself makeup wise, and the way he has handled all of this notoriety. He has exceeded every expectation that I think they had, and those expectations were massive. Hard to exceed, enormous expectations, and Cam Smith has done that. So there is one other layer of this PPI thing that I want to talk to you about and get your thoughts on. Hunter Brown is technically still PPI eligible.
Yeah.
Hunter Brown debuted.
That's insane. What are we talking about?
He debuted for the Astros in 2022. So here's how he is still PPI eligible. And it ties in with Cam Smith. So rookies that get more than 60 days of major league service time are not eligible. That's why, if they get more than 60 but less than 172, they're not eligible. Their eligibility goes away. Because Hunter Brown debuted in September of 2022, he stayed on the roster all September, and then the playoffs don't count. So he had fewer than 60 days of service time in 2022. Going into 2023, he was on all the requisite top 100 prospect lists. He broke camp with the Astros in 2023. He stayed on the roster the whole season. That's a full year of service time, 172 days. So he's now PPI eligible. Still, he retains it, because once you get that 172 days of service time, you retain your PPI eligibility until you reach arbitration. So Hunter Brown still not in arbitration. He is still PPI eligible. So if Hunter Brown finishes in the top 3 of AL Cy Young voting this year, which is, I wouldn't put it past him after what we saw last year. The Astros are going to get a comp pick after the first round of next year's draft if Hunter Brown finishes in the top 3 of Cy Young voting. So bring this back to Cam Smith. If the Astros wait until September to call Cam Smith up, if they determine that, he needs to see upper level pitching, he's only got 35 plate appearances above high A, needs to see double A breaking balls, needs to go to triple A, see what he can do there, and they wait until September to call him up, bring him up, you miss Super 2, you keep his PPI eligibility intact to where if you carry him on the roster next year, the opening day roster next year, he's still rookie eligible, which means he could win Rookie of the Year. And he's still PPI eligible, which means you would get a comp pick if he does. Am I
feel like this
crazy?
did not go the way that they wanted it to when they designed this system. There should never be an incentive to be like, well, what if we wait until September for this really good guy? I mean, if anyone in the Astros front office is thinking along those lines, I will personally punch them in the mouth. That is insane. Like, great. If it works out that way, fine. But so help me, if someone is holding back Cam Smith for September on the off chance that he accidentally wins Rookie of the Year next year so that the year after they can get some fake 45th overall pick, I will lose my mind.
So you're not in favor. You're not in favor.
No. No one is. That's not real. If anyone is thinking that, they're a psychopath.
Yeah, I mean, so when I was thinking about this, the way I thought about it was if Christian Walker's injury was short term, let's say there would have been a situation where he had to miss the start of the year, but it wouldn't have been a long-term injury. The Astros had their window to start the year with Cam Smith, let him play the first month of the year while Christian Walker was rehabbing his oblique, and then see how he's doing. If Christian Walker's ready to come back and Cam Smith looks overmatched, can send him back down to the minor leagues. You can, if he looks so overmatched, he's got to wait. You can wait it out, maybe bring him up next year, something like they had that possibility. It was one of those things to where when we thought Christian Walker's oblique injury was going to be more severe, this was an avenue they could have gone down to keep a lot of things intact, to keep Cam Smith's PPI eligibility, to reward him for what he did in spring training, and to, maybe give him a softer landing spot in the big leagues. Because let's face it, whenever Cam Smith does get called up, it is going to be like the expectations are going to be through the roof. Everyone's going to be looking at this dude to be like, you need to, because when do most prospects get called up? When the major league team is struggling, when they need a spark, when they need someone to come in there and shake up the room a little bit. That's a lot of pressure to put on a prospect. If you start the year with Cam Smith on the opening day roster, like, I'm not saying there's no pressure there, but like, it's a clean slate. Like, there's 0-0. Like, there's more pressure on Jose Altuve and Yordan Alvarez to start the year well, on Isaac Paredes to make a nice impression on his first team. There's no looking at Cam Smith and like, you have got to be the guy. Like, you've got to come in here and change our fortunes. It's a little bit of a softer landing spot. But I think that the Hunter Brown situation, that scenario where you wait till September, I don't think that's what's entering their minds. I think what has to enter their minds, quite frankly, is, do we start him on opening day? Is that something we're thinking of? Do we want to keep this incentive intact to possibly give us another draft pick? And to do that, they can't wait until May or June to call him up. They can't be prudent. Like, they've got to decide, can this guy help us from day one? And they're not going to know that from Grapefruit League games. Like, and I wrote this the other day. Dana Brown has been a scout his entire life. His entire professional life, he's been a scout. He is here to evaluate guys like Cam Smith. I would trust Dana Brown's eye and his years of being an amateur scout and seeing what big leaguers look like over what Cam Smith is doing against quad A pitchers from the Mets and the Yankees in these Grapefruit League games. I don't think the PPI thing is going to become a huge factor, but Tyler, it's something it's certainly something that they have to at least That has to come up in conversation when Dana Brown and Joe Espada are talking about this with their baseball ops people.
Do you think it does come up in conversation? Do you think Joe Espada has heard the words PPI?
I don't think Joe Espada. I think it will be talked about. I think it is something that there always has to be that guy in the room. You call him the hand raise guy. You call him the guy in the corner that lays out every
nerd.
The nerd, yeah, sure. The guy that lays out every possibility to be like, hey guys, if we do it now, we could get this. There's a possibility of getting this. And then it's how much do you believe in this guy? Like, do you believe this guy can win Rookie of the Year? Do you believe this guy could finish in the top 3 of MVP voting in a league that includes Aaron Judge?
Okay, here's my plan then. I think bring him up. He wins Rookie of the Year, finishes second. Let's not get crazy. An MVP. Hunter Brown wins the Cy Young. 3 comp picks. Astros are just churning them out like crazy. Do you get to double up if you hit multiple categories?
I do think that teams are only allowed.
That's coward move. If your guy comes up and wins Rookie of the Year and finishes top 3 and MVP, you should get to pick first overall because clearly you know what you're doing.
And now it should be noted that while this thing PPI has only been in existence, I believe, for 3 years. I think there's only been 3 players to accrue. This is not normal. Like, again, it's supposed to be hard. Like a lot of rookies,
it's like Chris Bryant rule, right? Like it's because the
Jordan rule, the Alex Bregman. Like, think of what the Astros have done to prospects that when you watch them in spring training, you're like, oh, this dude's different. And then it's like, oh, well, he's got to Jordan has to go learn to play left field better, and he's not going to come up until middle of June. No, they wanted to keep him away from Super 2.
Yeah, the difference though was that the teams were better then. Like you could go like, well, what's the difference between 1 WAR from this guy versus, that's not that big of a difference. But like all Cam Smith has to do is be better at hitting than Chas McCormick, which is not a crazy high bar. And so, yeah, man, if he's ready, if he's looking like this, bring him up. I don't care.
I'm glad you brought up be a better hitter than Chas McCormick. Because if he's going to if Cam Smith's going to make the opening day roster, he's going to have to play every day. Like, they're not going to carry Cam Smith to sit on the bench 3 times a week. Like that would be stupid, especially with how little experience he has in professional baseball. With Christian Walker being, we presume, ready for opening day, the only way Cam Smith can play every day on this team would be in an outfield spot, left field or right field.
Oh, that rules.
He has not played outfield ever.
Neither is Altuve. He's making it look fine. Who cares? Throw him out there.
I'll actually take that back.
Okay.
Cam Smith did play left field in the Cape Cod League. When he went to the Cape in one of his summer stints at Florida State. Otherwise, has not played the outfield hardly ever. He has talked about wanting to stay at third base. Joe Espada came on this podcast and said, we want to keep him at third base while he's in big league camp to kind of ease any anxiety he'd have, to make the transition seamless, and to make him feel like he's at his natural position. Tyler, I wouldn't be surprised if in the next week or so, I'm not saying he's going to play there in Grapefruit League games. Wouldn't be surprised if you start seeing Cam Smith go with the outfielders.
That would rule. Be so excited. I hope he learns a new position a week before the season starts and then just hits 7th opening day and works his way through and wins all the PPIs that he can. I keep thinking of pardon the interruption. That's every time you say it, I think of PTI. But yeah, here's the thing. I used to care a lot about when the Super 2 deadline was. And
this is the new Super 2. This is the new in vogue Super 2.
I don't care. Like 2030 is not a real year. The older I get, the more I'm like, just whatever you're doing now. That's all you got, man. I had hair like 5 years ago. This is all science now. This is Kirkland brand Rogaine up here. Like 5 years ago, I was like, oh, I might grow out a mullet because I got so much. Nope, not anymore. So I don't care about the prospects or even service time. I don't care what. Figure it out. Pay him 6 years from now. That's a problem for future Astros. What I care about right now is this season, and as long as you're not, there's obviously a line, right? Like you don't want to just blow everything for 1 year, but you're not with service time. You're not. If the guy's good enough, bring him up, let him play, and if he deserves to be paid, then you'll pay him later, or you'll trade him for another Cam Smith on the last year of his contract. Oh, how mad will Cubs fans be if Cam Smith wins Rookie of the Year, the Astros get a pick, and then Tucker walks after one season? They'll be so mad. That would be wonderful. I would love that.
It would extend Cubs fans' prolonged misery since 2016. That's a pretty miserable fan base. They had that. 2016 was such a great year for them, and everything before and after has just been.
Cool stadium.
Great stadium.
Hot take. Wrigley Field is a good ballpark. My wife and I went there probably 4 or 5 years ago. Oh, shoot, it was probably like 7 years ago. Time is flying. But I straight up, it was a day game. We walked up the concourse. I bought like nice seats in the first deck. Walked up the little concourse. It was already like the second inning when we got there. And as soon as I came up, and then like into the lower bowl, the game's already going, so there's already all this energy there. I cried. Was not expecting that, but I walked up and I was just like, oh, like it all just hit me all of a sudden. I don't know if it's just from growing up watching so many Astros Cubs games. Big fan of Rookie of the Year, that movie. You remember that one? Where the kid
on ice.
No. Henry Rowan Gardner, he breaks his arm and then he can throw I thought you were saying like you saw it on ice, like Disney on ice.
No. Forgot what the coach's name was, but they're in the clubhouse and like he's trying to teach him how to arm care between starts. Like, hot ice.
Yeah,
and then he gets like trapped in the cage.
I wonder if that holds up. I wonder if it's still good. I hope so.
Gary Busey's like half drunk, like with the guy, like
Just
the whole
choking
movie
on sunflower seeds.
Oh, it's what a great time.
Anyway, Cam Smith should be playing. If he's good enough, let him play. I don't care about any of the other incentives. And just the fact that you mentioned this September nonsense, I'm mad at you because someone is going to hear it and someone's going to be like, well, Hunter Brown's still PPI. I'm going to be so mad. If that comes out in a press conference this year, I'm holding you personally accountable for my misery.
And to be fair, I think that I have not asked Dana this. I'd be stunned if Dana doesn't think exactly the way you think. He does not strike. He is the antithesis of his two predecessors, who I can almost assure you, both of his predecessors would have had this as a conversation piece within their front office. Jeff Luhnow, I can all but guarantee that. James Click, I'm sure that would have been something he considered. I don't know if it would have been front of mind, but it would have certainly been something to think about. Dana, I think that's a totally different wavelength. I think he's going to bring the best 26 guys to Daikin Park to play the Mets on opening day. And if Cam Smith's one of them, the draft picks be damned. He will be one of them when they believe he's ready. So to soothe your concerns, I can all but assure you that this is how they think. But it's interesting food for thought about if he doesn't make the opening day roster. And then we get into the middle of the season and he's having an okay showing in the minor leagues. It's not superstar level. He's not forcing their hand to call him up. And the Astros are staying afloat at the big league level. Then you start to wonder, do you just wait entirely until next year? There's a lot of different ways this could go. And there's a lot of different ways that this PPI thing can impact your thinking. And again, it was going to be really hard for Cam Smith or anyone to make this PPI thing work. Because again, Winning Rookie of the Year is hard. Finishing in the top 3 of these awards is really hard. So it's not as if they do this, it's guaranteed they're getting a pick. It's just one of these interesting things to kind of keep in the back of your head. And it made for 35 minutes of lively discussion. And the last 2 minutes we will occupy with Jalen Beeks. Do you know who that is?
I saw you tweet about him. Sounds like a cool name for like a Sesame Street character. Jalen Beeks, like a little duck or something. I feel like that would be a good one. But apparently, he's left-handed, correct?
He is. So now they have
how many of those do they need?
They have approximately 31 left-handed relievers in Major League Camp. Dusty Baker is on a winery in California, his winery, somewhere just losing his mind because the Astros have this many left-handed relievers in camp.
Dusty Baker should open a beignet shop.
Baker's Beignets.
Well, just Dusty Baker. Like that. What else is Dusty Baker than a beignet?
Well, there's so many ways you can go with that. But yes, beignets. Beignets are great. We're going full circle here because I was at Mardi Gras as we started this podcast talking about powdered sugar may have gone up my nose, a couple times with
sugar
with eating beignets. Perhaps.
Chandler, your mom watches this.
Oh, she does. Oh man, I hope she doesn't watch till the end. Actually, I hope she does because that's how we get revenue. If she wants me to make money, she should still be watching this. Jalen Beeks, the only interest, again, minor league deal to a guy that there's zero risk. There's zero risk here. Like it's a lottery ticket. Like if he pitches well, great. If not, he costs you next to nothing. I did find it interesting that they signed him to a minor league deal 3 weeks in the camp after they have had all this time to evaluate the approximately 31 other left-handed relievers they have in camp. To me, Tyler, that would indicate that they are not totally enthralled with their bullpen competition right now. Maybe wanted to add some more, see what they can get, because if you're settled, if you're content with what you got, you're not still looking to bring guys in. And that was the only kind of interesting thing to me, was that this late in the camp that they would go find another left-handed reliever.
Yeah, just quickly glancing over his Baseball Savant page. Not a lot of hard contact, just a lot of, either bad luck or whatever. But I mean, the average exit velocity, he's in the 87th percentile, barrel hard hit percentage hovering around the 90th percentile. He pitches to contact, but he gets outs. I mean, that's a perfect 5th inning guy. That's the guy you want to come in and go like, look, man, it's 7-0. Can you just throw some strikes and get us through this game? But yeah, I mean, of course we say that, and he's going to win Rookie of the Year, and we'll get another PPI. That's how it works, right?
Well, he pitched for the Rays for 5 years, so he does something.
That's
right.
A minor league team. It's fine.
If he pitched for the Rays for 5 years, he did something right. He's got good stuff. If the Rays are running him out there for as many innings as they ran him out there for 5 years, he knows what he's doing. He then got to go pitch for the Rockies, which, oh boy, what a change in trajectory and what a change in vibe going from the Rays to the Rockies. Who knows? Maybe Jalen Beeks will be on the opening day roster. Maybe Cam Smith will be on the opening day roster. Maybe whoever the Astros pick with their PPI pick in 2026 will soon be on an opening day roster. Who can say? Whoever is there, we will talk about them on Crush City territory, which will come to you twice a week for the remainder of spring training. And then March 27th, opening day. Once opening day rolls around, 3 times a week. Tyler, are you ready for that?
Oh, yeah. This is the only time I talk to people.
Yeah, what are we doing?
Just you. I've been sitting in a dark corner for 3 days since the last episode, just waiting to get back on.
So have I, and I think it really worked. I think we got out everything we needed to get out. So
I will say this is a complete tangent. I accidentally went viral on TikTok. I was lip syncing to a My Chemical Romance song, and I think the mustache makes children think that I'm much older than I actually am. But it blew up. There's like 50,000 likes on this thing from all of these sad teenagers listening to My Chemical Romance, and every comment on there is like, this is me when I'm a middle-aged man. This is me when I'm older. Me in 20 years. I'm like, oh my gosh. So anyway, point is ready to come back in the podcast game, which is maybe where I should stay because I'm getting roasted by children on the China app.
Are My Chemical Romance and Good Charlotte the same thing?
No, how dare you? Look, we can have a separate lesson on mid-aughts emo music because I could write a dissertation on that.
Like Green Day?
Green Day is more punk. Listen, I'm going to fight you if we have to go down this road. I'm driving to Nashville tomorrow to start some music recording. So don't get me say it'll take me an hour to walk you through all of the different emo bands. But anyway, glad to be back podcasting with people who don't think of me as a stunningly old man. Like they're surprised that I know how this app works.
Breaking Benjamin rules.
Okay.
Anyway, we'll end on that. Please, you're still listening. If you're still listening, God bless you. Please rate and review on Apple. Please subscribe on YouTube to Crush City Territory so you'll know whenever one of these masterpieces drops. You'll be the first to know if you subscribe to Crush City Territory. We will be back this week. I'll be back in West Palm Beach to look at Cam Smith and Jalen Beeks and whoever else is there with my own two eyes. We will be back this week to talk to you guys about what I see. Thanks.
Bye.